What's going on, guys? Welcome to this episode, this live episode of Aussie English. Just getting ready. Sorry I'm a few minutes late, guys. Had a lesson go until a few minutes past 7, but I'm here and I'm ready to rock. Ready to rock. So welcome to this episode of the Effortless Phrasal Verb course, guys. We're going to be going over phrasal verbs with up. Today, this is the free component of the Effortless Phrasal Verb course. If you would like to sign up for it, you can do so now. You will save $13 if you sign up now, as I'm releasing these episodes before the full thing is completed. So the link is in the description here. You can sign up, you can check it out. It's going to be awesome and it's going to help you learn phrasal verbs effortlessly. That's the whole point, so that you can use these phrasal verbs without thinking, like a native, guys, like a native. So just let me give the episode a quick share. Make sure you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay, guys. If you've got any friends who are learning English and having trouble with phrasal verbs, make sure that you tag them in a comment below. Tell them to get their butt to class. They need to come and improve their use of phrasal verbs. How are you going, Tabo? I hope you're well, my mate. Eliana, I hope you're well. Rocio, how are you going? Who else? Macram, welcome, mate. Thanks so much for showing up, guys. You're always early, so I really appreciate that. You guys always tend to be the first few to show up. So let me quickly share the video. Hopefully my voice is back, and you might have noticed, yeah, the beard's gone. That's it. There's been a few changes. Come on, load. The internet's so slow in Australia, guys. I tell you what, it is really frustrating. As much as life is good here in Australia, the internet is certainly a pain in the butt. It's a real pain in the butt. So I'm just going to give this a quick share. Again, give me a thumbs up, guys, if you can hear me okay, and share the page if you wouldn't mind, or share the video if you wouldn't mind. Go find some friends and tell them to get to class. What else was I going to say? I also want to announce before we get started, so all the people who have signed up to be patrons via my Patreon page, I want to give a special shout out to you guys, a real thanks, because you guys have allowed me to buy these nifty little lights, so that now I have really good lighting when I do these videos, or at least better lighting. I'll give you a sneak peek. So this is my current setup, right? So I've got two lights, one here and one, where's my finger? Here. And I stick the camera on my trusty Portuguese book. So yeah, and I guess also, remember guys, if you feel like sending me a postcard, I'll attach that below as well when I finish the episode and give you the address. I'm still collecting these. I haven't actually gone to see my folks where all these postcards are getting sent, but I know a few of you have sent them, so big thanks to everyone who's done that so far. Anyway, let's get into today's content now that we've gotten started. Welcome to this episode of Effortless Phrasal Verbs, guys. This is number 11. We're going to be talking about phrasal verbs that go with up, verbs that pair with the prepositional particle up. So they can be used in 5 or 6 different ways. I'll go through those. I'll then go through them in depth. And then at the very end, I'll go through some expressions that use phrasal verbs that go with up. So first and foremost, as always, guys, movement, position and movement. Up, upwards, going up, coming up. We can use up to pair with verbs when we want to talk about something increasing, okay? Or something improving. So getting better. In English, we often think of getting better as increasing, going up. Number 3, to completion, like clean something up. I want you to completely clean that thing. To completion, finish it totally, up. Finish up, clean up, tidy up. The 4th one, to create, to start, or to prepare something. So you could start up a business. Start the business up. Number 5, to appear. Something could come up, as in it just appeared, and now you have to deal with this thing. It's come up. And number 6, a whole bunch of miscellaneous ones that I couldn't quite place in those other categories. So let's get into it. All right, first one, to pick something up. So I have a pen here, it's on the table, I put the pen down on the table and I pick the pen up, right? Pretty simple, that change in movement. It's going up, it's going down. If I pick the pen, I use my hand to do this and I pick it up, it's going upwards, okay? I pick the pen up. I can also use pick up to mean collect. So that would be like if I had multiple pens and I pick them up to collect them, except we use this for people. So if my kids have gone to school, I drop them off at school. After school finishes, I would go to school to pick them up. So I'm getting them in the car and taking them home. I pick the kids up. I might get up, and that would be literally to do this. I might stand up. So I get up and go outside. I could stand up and move out of the way. Something can move up, and that's like to move sideways, or I guess upwards if we're talking about maybe standing in a line or a queue. Someone's waiting there and you want them to move forwards, you want them to move up. So the idea there would be down the line is towards the back, up the line is towards the front. Okay, so move up the line or move up in the line. You could do something up, or you could zip something up. So if I had a zip here on my jumper and I pulled it up like this, I'm doing my jumper up, I'm zipping my jumper up. I can unzip it or I can undo it, but we'd use the phrasal verb do it up or zip it up to talk about that direction. It sounds a bit weird to say do it down or zip it down. We would say undo, unzip, okay? So we could go up. We might go up in a lift. He went up in a lift. We could go up the road. And again, that could be going forwards, or the road could be on a hill and you're literally going up the road, but it could also be that it's flat and you're going up the road, down the road if you're coming back to the very start of the road. We could drive up the road. You could drive up a driveway. If we decide to walk casually, we're not really, going very quickly, it's to meander. To meander, kind of like with not in a direct manner. So if I walk up a path, I walk up the path. It could be literally up, or it could be in a forward motion along the path, up the path. And I sort of do this, it's to meander, So we meandered up the path. I could wander up the path as well. So wander again is just to walk. It's another synonym for to walk. He wandered up the track. All right, more position and movement. My trusty glass. I always have this glass here. If I pour water into the glass, I pour it into, because it's going within the glass. Pour it in versus coming out. Pour it in the glass fills up. The level of the water goes up. The glass fills up with liquid, right? So the waiter, if I'm in a restaurant, the waiter could come over and fill my glass up. He could top my glass up. So to top is to add more liquid to the top of my drink. He's topping my drink up. If I get sick, so I have a drink of what the waiter's given me and I accidentally vomit, I'm throwing up. So I couldn't keep the liquid down in my stomach. It's come up and it's come out of my mouth. I've vomited it up. I've thrown it up, hurled it up, chucked it up. It all means the same thing. We take the verb we want to use for vomiting and then up because it's come out of our stomach, up out of our mouths. All right, some more position and movement ones. So these ones are going to be up to a person. So up to someone, okay? A person. And this can be a synonym for over to a person. So you've got two people like here. If you do this, you go over to this person. So like this, that's over to. If you go up to the person, it's that you approach the person, right? So up to, over to can be used to mean approach, get closer to someone or something. So I could be in a bar and I see a girl that I like. I might go up to the girl. I approach the girl. Maybe I'm at the bar and I'm drinking up, I've just bought a drink from the bar and the girl comes up to me. She comes up and she says hello. If I was in a house and I had a baby and the baby was crawling around, so remember around is in no particular direction. He's just crawling on the ground. So crawling is in he's on his hands and his knees crawling around. If he approaches me, I can say he's crawled up to me. So he was over here, I was here, and he's crawled up to me. So he's approached me. He could stand up and walk, in a funny way, and we would call that waddling. So he could waddle. And waddling is something stereotypically done by ducks, right? You know how they have that weird look, ducks, when they walk, they waddle. So a duck could waddle up to the water's edge and then get into the water. All right. We can also use this metaphorically, figuratively. So you've done something wrong. You've committed a crime. If you decide that you're going to face that punishment, you're facing up to the crime. You're facing up to what you did. So she faced up to her crimes, okay? So that's kind of like to approach your crimes and be punished for them in a figurative sense, not literal. You could fess up to something. If I fess up, it's that I admit I did it. So if I stole something or I did something naughty at school and I'm a student, I fessed up to what I did, okay? So the student fessed up to what she did. She admitted, yeah, that was me. You could chase someone up or you could chase something up. That is to pursue information. So it's to like approach someone figuratively looking for information. So we'll chase that report up tomorrow. We'll chase up that report at work tomorrow. To chase up, to pursue information, to follow up. And that's the next one. To follow up. You can follow up something or you can follow up with someone, with a person. So I'll follow up with him tomorrow, meaning that I'll pursue him to try and find out if he's okay or if he has the information tomorrow. I'll follow him up tomorrow or I'll follow up with him tomorrow. Now let's get on to number 2, guys. Number 2. All right, so increase, to increase like this, or improve. So it could be going up like that. It could be going outwards like that. Remember, you probably know the phrasal verb to blow up. And also to improve, so to get better. Imagine doing that. Something's increasing. So beef up. To beef up, beef like the food, like a steak. If you beef up, you're getting a lot of beef on your bones. You're getting strong. You're getting big. You might go to the gym a lot and start beefing up because you're improving, you're increasing your size. You're beefing up from doing all this work at the gym. So he's beefing up at the gym. You could brush up on something, brush up on a thing, and that is to become more familiar with it. So it could be something you knew in the past and you're refreshing your memory. You're learning it again. You're learning it over. You're learning that thing over. You're brushing up on that thing. So if I hadn't played piano for quite a few years, I might go away and practice a little bit to brush up on my skills, to brush up. Maybe you guys, if you stopped learning English for a while, before you went to an English-speaking country, you might brush up on your English. So he's brushing up on his English before his trip. You can cheer someone up. If you cheer someone up, that is to make someone happier. So their happiness is increasing as opposed to, say, bringing someone down. So if you bring someone down emotionally, you're making them sad or depressed. If you cheer someone up, you're making them happy. You're making them feel really good. So we often use that for mood or emotion. Cheer someone up, bring someone down, okay? So the baby cheered up when he saw his dad. Maybe his dad walked in, he looked over, and he cheered up because his dad was there. All right, to dress up. So I could dress up in some nice clothes, guys. Put on some nice clothes and dress up. Feel really good, go out on the town. So he dressed up before going out. He could put a suit on, some really nice clothes. If it was a girl, maybe she wears a really, really nice dress. So to dress up. We can also use this though for costumes. So we recently had Halloween where kids dressed up as monsters, as witches, as animals, as all kinds of creatures and scary things. They dressed up in costumes. They dressed up in costumes for Halloween. You can turn something up. Again, increase. So we're increasing something. You could do it with volume. You could do it with the intensity. These lights that are sitting in front of me, if I turn them up, they become brighter. They become brighter. Turn them up. So can you turn the telly up? That'd be like, can you turn the TV volume up? You can rage up or arc up. To rage up or to arc up at someone. At someone. That's to get angry. So imagine I had an argument with someone and they started shouting at me. They're raging up at me. So up because they're increasing their rage. They're getting more and more angry at me. So they're getting angry at me. They're raging up. Or we can say they're arcing up. They're arcing up at me. That's a bit of slang, to arc up. All right. Number 3, to completely finish something, to do something to completion, to wake up. You guys will know the verb wake, as into you were asleep, now you're awake. If you wake up, it's to completely have woken, right? So if you wake, it might be that you're, somewhat awake. You're just slowly coming to. But if you wake up, it's that you've completely woken. Okay, so what time did you wake up this morning? What time did you wake up? You can use something up. If you use something up, it's to run out of something. So maybe I use up all the milk in the fridge, or maybe I use up all the money that I have in my wallet. It's all gone. It's been used up. You can give up, hands up. Put my hands up, I give up, I surrender. So I stop doing something or I completely surrender. We gave up learning English. We said, no more, we've had enough. I don't want to learn English ever again. I'm giving up. I'm surrendering, I'm giving up. You could be an enemy and you get surrounded. Your enemy comes in on you and you give up. You surrender. You could eat something up or drink something up. If I had to leave, if I had to go out right now, but I had to drink all of this drink, I'm drinking it up because it's all gone. So I'm completely drinking it. I'm drinking it up. If I was eating something and someone came in and said, you need to eat up, you need to completely finish eating. Eat up. We have to go. Come on, eat up. So the example I have here is quick, eat up, drink up. We have to go. So completely drink, completely eat. Some place like a venue could be booked up. So if you book a venue, it's kind of like organize a table or organize something at that place in advance. So you're booking a restaurant seat, okay, or a restaurant table. So if the restaurant gets booked up, it's completely booked. There's no more space, there's no more tables, no more room for you. It's completely booked up. Okay, so the restaurant's totally booked up today. We could roll something up. So I've got tissues here, toilet paper tissues. If I unroll it, I'm rolling it up. When I do that, I completely roll it so that it's completely, wound up. It's completely rolled up. So the idea of completion. I guess you could think in your head too that you sort of roll it down by doing this and then you roll it back up by doing that. So it's kind of like unwind, unroll, roll up, wind up, okay? You could wrap something up. So imagine I have a scar or a cut on my head. If I get toilet paper and completely wrap it around my head so that my wound on my head is okay, It's completely wound up around my head. It's wrapped around my head. It's wrapped up. My head is wrapped up. So completely wrapped. Okay? But there's a few other ways that we can use this. So it could be a Christmas present, a prezi, something you've bought for your parents, your relatives. You've bought them a prezi. You're going to put Christmas wrapping paper around it. You're wrapping up the prezzies, okay? You could be really cold. It could be winter outside. It's freezing. You're freezing your butt off, so you grab, I don't have any props, I don't have any left. You grab a rug, some kind of blanket, and you wrap it around yourself. You have wrapped up, completely wrapped yourself to stay warm. So you've completely wrapped up, okay? And the last one is that if you wrap something up, we can use this in a figurative sense to mean let's finish. So at the end of this lesson, I could say, guys, we're going to wrap up now and finish. We'll finish up, we'll wrap up, it's time to go. So we wrapped the meeting up and we went home. What else have we got here? All right, something can be covered up. So again, I could cover my eyes up. So my eyes are completely covered. I've covered them up, okay? They're completely covered. But we can use this in a figurative sense to mean to hide something. So say the government covered up what really happened. So here's what really happened, and the government covered it so no one else knew what had happened. They covered up this incident, this event. I could clean up. I could tidy up. So after I finished this lesson, if there was a mess in my room was really messy, if I organized everything completely, I've cleaned everything up. I've cleaned up everything. I've tidied everything up. I've tidied everything up. Exactly. Tidied up everything. So she tidied up her room. She cleaned up her room. We've covered finish up and to wrap up, as in to like completely finish doing something. So we can finish up at work. What time are you finishing up at work today? Finishing up. What time do you completely finish? What time are you wrapping up today? What time do you completely wrap? As in, I guess, to finish doing that thing. We can use add up. So 1 and 1 add up to 2. They completely add to equal 2. But we can use this figuratively to mean to make sense. So if I take this piece of evidence and this other piece of evidence, when I put them together, do they add up? Do they make sense? So what the cops told me didn't quite add up. That didn't quite make sense. What else have we got here? A few more of these completion ones. If I punch someone or I really, really hit them, bash them, I harm them to completion, I beat them up. Beat them up. So I completely beat them. I bash them up. Again, bash is just another way of saying hit. I bash them up. I belt them up. That would be like I've taken my belt off and hit them with my belt. I've belted them up. I've punched them up. Again, same thing. It just means to completion. So he bashed someone up, we beat someone up, they belted someone up, and you punched someone up to completion. Imagine my car has broken down. I'm fixing the car. I want to completely fix it. I'm fixing it up. Imagine that I decide that I want to tie someone up. That would be like to completely restrict them by tying them. So I've tied their hands, I've tied their feet, maybe I put a gag in their mouth so they can't talk. I'm kidnapping them. I've tied them up. I've completely tied them. So I could tie also a dog or an animal up to a location so that it stays there. So if the dog's got a leash around its neck, you know, the leash that goes from a dog's neck, the owner holds, if he ties the end of that to a tree, he's tied the dog up. He's tied the dog up to the tree. We can also completely ruin something, completely ruin it. We can trash something by using a number of different verbs, going from polite to rude. So we can botch something, we can botch it up. We can screw something, we can screw it up. We could bugger something, bugger it up. We could stuff something up. And the last one, which out of all of these is probably the one you wouldn't say in polite company, in front of people like at work, you can fuck something up. Ah, man, I fucked it up again. So it's very, very strong, but it's not rude that you're using on someone. You're not calling someone a name. It's rude because you're saying a swear word, okay? So it's just something you would say with friends. So how did you botch this up? How did you screw this up? How did you bugger this up? How did you stuff this up? How did you fuck this up? That is, how did you ruin this completely? All right. The last one I think that I've got here before we move on to do something to completion, and I'm looking for more props. This is the best I've got. Imagine I have a knife and this is a piece of wood and I slice, I cut, I chop, I dice, I carve up this piece of wood. It would be the idea of me completely chopping it, completely slicing it, completely dicing it, completely carving it. So these are all just different ways of describing how you would use a knife on some food. And so if you use that knife to completely chop the thing, slice the thing, carve the thing, dice the thing, it means that, yeah, you've done it to completion. So I'm chopping up the veggies, chopping them up. I'm slicing up the veggies, so it's a little more delicate, slicing them up. You're dicing up the carrots. That's more that they're just getting chopped into little pieces. Like, imagine like a little dice or a die, chopped up. And you carve meat. You tend to carve meat off a bone, okay? So if you get like a lamb shank on a bone, if you use a knife to remove the meat by doing these kinds of actions, you know, probably downwards, you're carving up the lamb shank or the lamb roast, carving it up to completion. Number 4, we use up with verbs to mean create something, to start something, to prepare something. So you could set up a business. So I'm setting up a new business at the moment, Aussie English. You could set up a tent. That's kind of like to establish or to prepare. So I'm going camping, I'm going out into the wilderness, into the bush, into the outback with my mates, and I'm going to set up my tent in this spot. This is where I'm going to prepare my tent. I'm setting it up. I could also set up this camera. So before I started this lesson, I completely set this camera, I organized it, I set it up, I prepared it, I set up the camera. You can take something up. So you could use this literally to mean, you know, movement. If I grab my camera here and I went upstairs, I'm taking the camera up to the next floor. I'm taking it upstairs, up. But you can take up something as in to start doing it. So I might take up French. I start learning French. I might take up footy. I've decided that I want to start playing football. So he's recently taken up footy as a hobby, to take up a hobby. You can come up with something. So this is like an idea or a suggestion or a story. How did you come up with that idea that you proposed at work? How did you come up with that? How did you create it in your mind? How did you prepare it? How did you come up with it? Who came up with this idea? Who came up with this story? So to create an idea, to prepare, to have it in your head, to think of that thing. Something can come up in something, bring up in something. So if I started discussing footy, I've brought up footy. I've brought it up in conversation. I've brought up football in conversation. Your name came up in conversation the other day, as in it suddenly appeared. It just, popped up. What else have we got here? To think up, to dream up. This is that the thing is just appearing in your head. It's preparing. It's coming up. So imagine a con man, someone who tricks people to make money. The con man thought up a new scheme. He thought it up. He created it. The con man dreamt up a new scheme. He thought of it. He created it. It's a new thing. You can make something up, and that is like to create a story. So he made up that whole story. It's a lie. He fabricated it. It's a total lie. Yeah, he completely made that story up. You could light something up, which would be like, I don't have any props, but imagine you had a cigarette or a cigar. If I light it, I completely light it, or I start the thing lit, I begin it to sort of burn, I'm lighting my cigarette up. So I'm lighting it up. If I start smoking cannabis, I think these would tend to be used with just smoking cannabis as slang. You can blaze up. Blaze is like fire. So he's blazing up outside would be like he's smoking a joint outside. You could use it probably to describe a cigarette as well if you wanted, but it would tend to be related to cannabis. And I guess it's the idea of just starting the thing on fire. The same with smoke up. Did you want to smoke up outside? Probably used for cigarettes, but I would probably hear this more often talked about with cannabis. So those are some slang terms you might hear in Australia if you're around people who smoke weed or cannabis. You can bring someone up, and that's to raise someone, to care for someone as they age or get older. So he brought his kids up in the country. Number 5, number 6, number 5, to show up. Oh, sorry, I should go through. Number 5, I keep wanting to put my thumb up. Number 5 is to appear, right? So I'm gone and then I appear. So you could show up at a location, and that is to appear, to get to arrive at that location. So when did you show up at the party? When did you show up? What time did you show up at the party? Oh, I showed up at about 7. You can also turn up. So turn is this movement, right? To turn. But we can use turn up to figuratively mean appear. Like, what? How did he get here? How did he turn up here? So you could turn up at the party. Or I could lose my keys. I don't know where my keys are. Oh, they turned up right in front of me. So this is where they appeared in front of me. That's where they turned up. End up. We can use end up to be like get somewhere. Again, it could be arrive somewhere. So you might say to someone, we're out in the bush, we're camping, and some random guy walks out of the forest and he's, it looks like he hasn't eaten in days. We could say, dude, how did you end up here? How did you turn up here? How did you show up here? How did you get here? How did you arrive here? How did you end up here? Okay, how did you appear in this location? How did you end up in the outback, mate? All right, some miscellaneous ones, guys, and then we'll go through the expressions. So you can catch up with someone or you can catch up to someone. So in a race, we would use catch up to, as in someone's in front of you in the race, you're here and you want to catch the person, as in reach that person, right? So you catch up to this person. Okay, so he caught up to me in the race. You can meet up with someone. Again, that would be like this. So again, I didn't know where this one fit, but to meet up, I guess it's kind of like to catch up to that person. It's to approach the person maybe. So did you want to meet up this weekend? Did you want to meet up? Did you want to catch up this weekend? Did you want to meet me and spend time? That means we could catch up. So I want to hear about your news. I want to see you. I want to catch up with you. You could keep up with someone. So the guy that I'm trying to catch up with in the race, or catch up to in the race, once I get to him, once I arrive at the same location, if I keep up with him, it's that I don't fall behind and that I don't go ahead. So I'm staying with the guy, I'm keeping up with him. Okay, so up in that sense would mean that I've kept here. I haven't fallen down or backwards. I've kept up and I'm holding on to that guy. I'm not falling back. Okay, keep up with. You can also use this to mean stay in the know. So if I keep up with the news, that would be like I stay up to date. So you'll know the TV show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. That is like staying up to date with the Kardashians. So I haven't kept up with the news, to keep up with. we could change something up or mix something up. So I guess we can use mix up literally. Imagine that I have lemon juice in here, but imagine I poured honey into this drink as well. If I mix it up, it's that I completely mix it. So I would put a spoon in there and mix it until it is just one liquid. So I can't see bits of honey, moving around. It's just one, complete, I don't even know the word, but a whole liquid that's, continuous. It's a consistent liquid. That's what I was looking for. But we can also use mix up to mean change. So if I didn't want to teach phrasal verbs next week, and instead I wanted to teach you guys something completely different, I'm mixing it up. So I'm changing things. I'm mixing things up, okay? So I might mix things up and do something different. She's going to change up her plans. So instead of doing what she always does, she's changing things up, okay? To be up to something, or to be up to someone, or to get up to something. I guess to be up to and to get up to, we'll use those first. So if you are up to something, or you're getting up to something, it means that you are doing something. So what are you up to? What are you up to today, mate? What are you up to? What are you doing? What are you doing today? What are you getting up to today? What are you getting up to later today? What are you getting up to this afternoon? What are you doing? Okay, what are you doing? It's as simple as that, but it's a very confusing one. You can put up with someone. So to put up, I guess that would literally be like you have something here, you place it up as opposed to placing it down. But if you put up with a person, that is to tolerate that person. So they could be incredibly annoying. So I've got a sister, maybe she's really annoying me today. If I tolerate it, so she's screaming at me, she's doing all these things and I'm like, I can't handle this. If I put up with it, I'm tolerating it. I'm like, all right, I can deal with this. Fine, I'll deal with it. I'm putting up with my annoying sister. I'm just going to have another drink. All right, you could put someone up in a location, and that's to accommodate someone. So my work put me up in a nice hotel. They put me up in this beautiful hotel. You could chat someone up. So to chat, as in to talk. If you chat someone up, though, that's to seduce the person by talking. So if I was in a restaurant and a girl walked over to me, she came up to me, she went up to me. If she started talking to me in order to seduce me, so, she was like, you look really nice today. I love your eyes. Did you want to come back to mine? I could say that she started to chat me up. She started chatting me up in the restaurant. If we got to the point of her chatting up, that I decided, okay, I really like this girl. I'm going to make out with her. I'm going to end up going to her place. She's picked me up. Okay, so to pick up, these are where those phrasal verbs get confusing. So here's a pen, I'm picking the pen up. If I pick someone up, it could be that I've collected them from a place. I picked the kids up from school. I picked my husband up from work. Picked Dad up from the shops. If I pick a person up in the figurative sense, this is to like collect someone and it's agreed that you're going to go somewhere and do a sexual activity, kissing and whatever else, okay? So that's to pick someone up in a figurative sort of slangy sense. And to hook up is the actual act of doing that sexual act, okay? So it could just be kissing. So imagine I'm at the restaurant. The girl comes up to me. She starts chatting me up. She starts seducing me. She grabs my hand to take her back to hers. She's picked me up. We go to hers and we start making out. We start kissing. We're hooking up, okay? So to chat up, pick up, hook up. It's the idea here of linking, I guess. That's the up bit. To link something up with something else. Chat up, pick up, hook up. You can also pick something up as a way of describing acquiring something. So acquisition of something. And this again is kind of like a metaphor. If I started learning Japanese, I've picked up Japanese or I'm slowly picking it up. It's like to slowly learn it, to slowly acquire that skill. So he picked up English whilst living in Australia. He acquired it as a language. He learnt it. You can act up. To act up is to misbehave. So your kids are being really naughty, they're misbehaving, the kids are acting up again. The kids are acting up. You can knock someone up. If I knock something, literally, that's to that's to accidentally hit it with my hand. But to knock someone up is to make the person pregnant. So it'll typically be a man who does this to a woman. Well, it'll always be a man that does this to a woman, at least for now. But he knocked his girlfriend up, as an example. He knocked his wife up. He knocked up his wife. He knocked up his girlfriend. He got her pregnant. You can sign up to something, or you can sign up for something. Okay, so have you guys signed up for the Aussie English Effortless Phrasal Verbs course? Okay, to sign up, to kind of like put your name up on a registry and say, I'm in. To sign up to something or to sign up for that thing. So that's it, guys. Let's go through some expressions now with phrasal verbs that go with up. So to be up to someone, we went over to be up to something, that's to be doing something. But if something is up to you, it's your choice. So the phrasal verb that we learn next week, guys, is up to me. I get to decide. I get to choose. It's up to me. It's up to me what we do. You could be up to your elbows in something. So if you're up to your elbows in something, that is like to have a lot of something to do. So I'm up to my elbows in work. I have a lot of work to do. I'm up to my elbows. It's piled up like this. It's reached my elbows. I'm up to my elbows in work. Something can go belly up. So your belly is this part of you. And typically it'd be like you're an animal, I guess, with your belly facing down. And if you have your belly facing up, you've died. Something bad's happened and you've gone belly up and you've died. But we'll use this figuratively to mean that something has failed. So if I started a new business and the business went belly up, it failed. So the business lost a lot of money and it went belly up. It died. Okay? You can keep your chin up. So as opposed to keeping it down, I'm keeping my chin up, and that is to remain positive, to stay positive, to remain happy. Stay happy, keep your chin up. So don't be so down, don't be depressed, keep your chin up. You know, someone cheered me up and kept my chin up. You can brighten someone's day up. So to brighten, I'm about to brighten my face up. There we go. My face just got brighter, okay, with the light. But if you brighten someone's day, imagine the sun coming out from behind the clouds. The sun's come out, the day's gotten brighter, the person's cheered up. It's really nice, it's beautiful. So we've brightened up their day, or their day brightened up when the sun came out, okay? Every time I see her, it brightens up my day. It makes me feel happier. You can kiss and make up. So you can make out with something, or something with someone, so to kiss someone. But if you kiss and make up, that is the idea of you've had an argument, you've had a fight, and people want you to resolve those issues. They'll say to you, guys, kiss and make up. So they don't literally mean kiss the person, but they mean make up as in resolve your issues, and kiss as in maybe on the cheeks. So you guys need to stop fighting and kiss and make up. Don't give up your day job. That's a really good expression for you guys. I always use this one. If someone's trying to do a skill that isn't their day job, it's not their usual job, so maybe they are, I don't know, trying to sing and they can't sing. It's not what they do as a living or for a living. Or they're trying to dance. If they're doing a bad job, someone could say to them, don't give up your day job, mate. So keep doing what you're good at. Don't do what you're bad at. Don't give up your day job. Okay? So you're awful at singing. Don't give up your day job. You can hit someone up. To hit someone up about something, that's to ask someone about something. Sort of to like inquire about that thing. So do you guys know where the party is tomorrow? I'll hit you up later. I'll hit you up. I'll call you. I'll contact you later and I'll find out the information. So I'll hit you up later about the party. Or I might hit them up later for the information about the party, okay? So if you need help, just hit me up, guys. As in, inquire, ask me about, help. You can keep it up. So keep it up. Maybe it's talking about your chin. Keep your chin up. But we can use this to mean keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing a great job learning phrasal verbs. You guys are doing a great job learning English. Keep it up. Keep doing it, guys. Keep it up, okay? So mate, you're doing a great job at tennis. You're playing tennis really well. Keep it up. Similar to keep at it. Keep at it, keep it up. And the very last one, guys, is to be fed up. To be fed up. To be fed up with someone, to be fed up with something is to have had enough of it. To be sick of it. So I don't like this thing anymore. It's annoyed me. I've had enough. I'm sick of this thing. I'm fed up with this thing. So I'm fed up. She was fed up with her boyfriend because they were always at each other fighting. So they decided to break up. They ended the relationship completely. They broke up. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, that's exactly it, G. Keep at it. Keep it up. So that was a free component of the phrasal verb course that I'm creating at the moment, guys. If you would like to sign up, the link is in the description and you will save 12%, $13 off the price it will be when it's finished. So that's a special price for you guys. If you want to sign up, you can do so now. I think there's about 11 different components that are out, or at least there will be this week when I finish this one. They're slowly coming out, but they're designed to help you learn to use phrasal verbs with examples, with definitions, so that you don't have to think when you use them, so that you understand the movements, the change in position, the basic conceptual ideas of phrasal verbs, and you just pick the particle you want to use, you pick the verb, and you put them together. That's the whole aim, okay, guys? So please sign up to the course and let's start smashing phrasal verbs together. But with that, guys, I have to go. I've got an interview with Adriana in about 7 minutes. That'll be up on her podcast relatively soon. I think she's interviewing me about being a PhD student. But thank you so much for coming. Lima, Ruchi, you guys are awesome. Eliana, thank you. Renault, thank you. G, Diana, you're amazing. Thank you, guys. Poja, thank you as well. Everyone that came to the class, I really appreciate it. Remember, classes are every Monday and every Thursday, 7 p.m. at night, Melbourne time. So I think that's 11 hours UTC, okay? Plus 11 hours. So wherever you are in the world. But if you're all in Australia at the moment, you'll know that Melbourne is the same as Sydney, but it's an hour behind, I think, Brisbane and Queensland. And then I think it's about half an hour or 45 minutes behind Adelaide and Darwin, and then a few hours behind Perth. So anyway, guys, thanks again. I really appreciate it. Make sure that you tag a friend that needs help with their phrasal verbs. Send them over to the Aussie English page. Help me grow this monster, this beast that is Aussie English, guys, because I want to keep doing this as my full-time job. So I need your help to keep growing this thing. Anyway, ta to you, Lima. Thank you so much, guys, and I will chat to you on Thursday.